this because I know.
Yeah, I think, well, no,
I'm recording now.
Hello.
Hi, Maryann. It's so good to see you.
How are you, Lena?
I'm fine, thanks to you yesterday. I have to tell the viewers that yesterday, which was the day after the dreadful State of the Union thing, which I refused to watch along with most people, but I was really feeling it yesterday, and I rang Maryann and went, and you talked me through it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a very hard day, I think, for everyone, and including myself, although this morning I woke up and I thought, gosh, I'm very tempted to reply to one of those posts on Facebook underneath Trump's acquittal speech and really just say, look, he's an absolutely, and I thought, no, step back.
Step back. Yes.
Exactly. So where do you want to start this morning, Lena?
Well, we did get a list together, so let's just work through the list. What was the first thing on there, Maryann?
I think we were going to look at Iowa.
Oh, of course. Let's just finish off the Iowa experience.
I think Perez has ordered a recount. I think that they're going to just recount and make sure.
A manual recount?
Well, I'm not sure what type of recount it is. Is it? I think it's a a recount of the caucus votes, I think is what I read.
Okay. So, because viewers started asking, was it hacked? Was it hacked? And my first reaction, not with the cards, was, no, it's just an app gone wrong, But let's see if there was more to it. Iowa, was it hacked? All right, let's go. We're just going to do quick reads here, 3 or 4 cards.
Oh dear, there's a good chance, Lena, that it was, because I'm pulling the 7 of Swords here, which is lies and deception. We've got the Queen. I've got the Queen of Swords, which is talking about bringing objectivity and truth to the table. It's also almost like there needs to be an investigation. We've got a lot of insecurity with the 4 of Pentacles around the vote, and then we've got the lies and deception. That could be a fear, but let's just get a clarifier card. No, I've got the Devil card. It looks like there's some toxic energy there. Now the question is, who hacked? Was it Russians hacking an app, or was it Republicans doing whatever they could to disrupt or dismantle or whatever the Iowa caucus and its process? There's definitely some underhanded stuff that's gone on here.
Well, I'd have to agree. I get my Trump card. Right. Okay. The Queen of Swords here. Yes, I noticed that you said it. Then I get my card of filthy money. And would you believe it? The 7 of Cups, illusion, delusion.
Oh, yeah, I think both. We're both on the money here. I think there's something really. It's been attacked, regardless of whichever way, whether it's the app that's at fault or Republicans doing whatever they can to destroy or disrupt the process. It's been attacked.
Shall we try and find out? Is it domestic or overseas? Is it GOP or is it Russia?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. All right.
Or GOP with Russia, I suppose.
Well, they always come up in the 3, Republicans, Russia, and Trump. That's how it always comes up. Okay, so
who was it? Oh, that wants to come out. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. The Trump card came out again.
I have a yes card on that, and as I was, the Fool is always a yes. It's one of those yes cards. It's not a maybe and it's not a no. It's new starts as well, and it's also doing something risky in the new start that they're trying to give themselves. Yeah, I'm pulling the Knight of Swords. So it may be, and then we've got the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. When I was shuffling, I actually did put Russia with the GOP. So I don't think that it was the Russia alone, and I don't think it was the GOP alone. I think that there was some kind of working together, even if the trolls combined. Remember, Russia has, funded troll farms, and here we have our wonderful illusions and delusions underneath the thing.
Yes.
So I think it was both.
Yeah.
What did you get?
And you're not going to believe this. So here's my trump card again, with manipulation from the Empress, which is for many readers is the Russian card. It's sort of just, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. But look, honestly, and I'll just make a general, not an intuitive comment here, but really the Democratic Party going into these caucuses, going into anything, needs to understand that there's going to be active attacks on whatever they do, whatever they can, whatever Russia, Trump, whoever, Trump's allies are going to do to disrupt the election, they will do it. And the Democratic Party has to wise up. I mean, they shouldn't be caught again like this.
That's right. Let's hope it's their fine. But why is it? Now, this is, again, just a general comment, viewers, not tarot-driven. But these things always seem to benefit the right. So hacked voting machines will spit out conservative votes. Tom Steyer, if you're listening, maybe we need a few Romanian hackers on the other side.
Yeah, I know. Or
that's a dreadful thing to say, Lena. But
Well, yeah. Well, that's right. Look, it's because you've got one party, for all its flaws. Let's not be naive about political parties or some of the things that political parties do, including the Democratic Party has that big donor base as well, big business. But still in all, the Democratic Party sticks to largely the law and the middle lane, and then you've got a very, very corrupt party that we've seen. So, people have been saying, should the Democratic Party get corrupt to take on this corruption, or should they keep with their values? I hope they keep with their values.
Yes, I do too. All jokes aside about Tom Steyer. But is that a mug's game?
Well,
as we say in Australia, viewers.
Well, Lena, I've read a lot on truth. Truth will come out at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I have to keep faith with that. I think that it generally does. And you and I have had long careers. We've seen some things. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the truth, one way or another, always emerges. It may not emerge immediately or soon enough for some people, but it always comes out.
Yes.
All right. No, next question.
But they do have to be alert, and they have to have the best possible techies being able to identify malware in a nanosecond and counter it or whatever you have to do.
Like Google, are you listening? You want to protect the country. I wouldn't call on Zuckerberg, but some of those high-tech companies that are still that are still impartial in a way. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't go on too much about Google because they've got their sins as well. But honestly, some American companies, why don't they offer their services to give the people a hand to keep foreign influences out?
Next question.
Hey?
Next question.
Okay. Well, I want to get on to Barr, but because I've been thinking a lot about him lately, and of course he's just come out and said no investigations into presidential candidates in 2020 unless I approve, and that's really deflated people because, as you say, he's gone full on Trump's attorney, and when you don't have an impartial attorney general, then you've got some pretty serious problems. However, I would counter that by saying Barr can't stop the House investigating. nor can it stop state attorney generals from investigating, the Letitia James and our DC Attorney General. Now, state attorney generals, they are beholden to the state that they're elected in. So, for example, the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, was elected through the state processes. So nothing to do with Bar, no oversight from Bar at all. Now, that's different from the state branches of the Attorney General's department, such as SDNY. They are oversighted by Bar. But the actual states, it's like here in Australia, our New South Wales Attorney General is not beholden to our federal Attorney General. So we've still got those state attorney generals that can conduct investigations, and we still have the civil organisations like CREW who are doing, and the Justice League, doing really good work, bringing cases before the courts. So,
yes,
it's not
CREW has been amazing. Throughout.
So, sorry, that was a long-winded, but I just had to get that out.
Get it out there,
get that off my chest. Are parts of the DOJ actively working against Bar in terms of being whistleblowers? Is there a resistance inside the DOJ?
Right, got it. Yeah.
Is there a resistance inside the DOJ? You go first. You're going to love this.
I've got the Ace of Wands on top, but I'm not entirely sure whether that's them coming out for what they believe in or whether they're being hit over the head with a big club. How's that?
This is a yes card. There is. And I did a little bit. I'll just do the first part of a Celtic cross. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Well,
well, I'll just finish mine because yours sounds really exciting. Okay. King of Wands, who I think in this context is Bar, not always, but just in this layer, who could be shunted sideways. He could be pushed out. In other words, he could be actually, held accountable, which would be amazing. But tell me about yours.
Okay, so we got the same card, Ace of Wands, double validation, no doubt about it. They are meeting in little rooms. They are over the photocopier, in the coffee tea room, around corners, discussing how abhorrent this is, how wrong it is. This is motivation and passion, so they're pretty impassioned. They are challenged by new starts, so they are still operating under older regime, this regime that they're in. They want new starts, though. The foundation of the question is the King of Pentacles. What are they riling against? They're riling against Trump, the businessman, Trump, the brazen flaunting of laws, emoluments laws, etc. This is what's inflaming their passion. They are also worried about domestic security, national security, I should say. In the past, they feel that they have been working to uphold that, to strengthen that. Right now, what's in the potential future for them, and unfortunately, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. They're having sleepless nights over this, but this is what I feel in the immediate future. The Eight of Pentacles. It's going to be hard work for them to do anything about it, but make no mistake, they're working where they can behind the scenes, and they're working together. There is a resistance within the DOJ,
and by that card, they're really doing that minute behind the scenes work.
What would that look like? Documentation, ensuring making notes.
Making notes. And I think in the classic legal way of looking for precedents, of which they know there's no one precedent that's going to cover this. So they're looking, I think, for any other tangential thing they can work up into a case against Barr.
And they're collaborating on it. They're meeting in coffee shops.
Definitely collaborating.
That's what
you'd have to say, I'm going to make this figure up, but you'd have to say the majority of the DOJ were straight. So although Barr's, you know, plucked a few off the top of the tree, you'd have to think and hope the majority of them are horrified by all this.
And let's not forget that the Trump base is only about 40%. So that, I think, 30 to 40%. And that leaves the majority of people who are, you know, regardless of which way they vote, there are plenty of Republicans who are, you know, absolutely disgusted with what's going on, who are going to stick with the law, who are going to take action to uphold the law. So we saw going back to the impeachment in the House, we saw Pence's member of staff coming out and testifying against the White House. You know, she probably, who knows how she voted, but she was willing to come forward and talk about what was right. So yeah, I think there is a resistance in the DOJ. Yeah. So what about this IRS whistleblower, Lena? Do you think we'll get more whistleblowers coming out in the next couple of months?
Let's have a look. I mean, I predicted a year ago there'd be a significant IRS whistleblower, but I think despite the fact this whistleblower, the famous one, has been treated so badly and outed and dreadful things, I think people will still come forward, but let's have a look. Will it put them off, or will they come? You can't blame them if they were thinking of it and don't.
Well, you know, the environment's pretty volatile out there. They'd have to be considering their own personal safety. Okay, we'll do more whistleblowers.
Oh, gorgeous. I get Justice on top. What do you get?
I got the Hermit, which is it has a review and investigation
aspect for sure.
Yeah. So, but and also that whatever they do, they're going to want their to be anonymous. They're going to be this is being isolated. I think people would be thinking fairly deeply about it before they do.
Yes.
Oh, Lena Rodriguez. What'd you get?
That's hilarious, yes. Well, with mine, it's quite optimistic tentatively. So, yes, Justice on top, the Star, you know, hope and inspiration, and also more and more my USA card.
You know, I love that Star.
They're strategizing and manipulating in a good way. We think of manipulation being a bad thing. They're juggling and weighing up the risks, the personal risks of going forward, right?
Yeah.
But strength prevails. Moral strength.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I've just got one more, 3 cards. This King of Cups energy, which is my, it's the contrast to the King of Pentacles. It's that beautiful energy that they want to see coming forward in their country, not what is coming forward now. Absolutely they are, but they're going to be thinking very, very carefully, I feel. And it would be on a matter of national security, which is why Queen of Pentacles keeps coming up for national security. That would bring them forward if they felt that their country was under threat.
That could be an issue too, because I've been getting the feeling, I'm sure you have too, something's imminent. Something that's going to, you know, really, really impact and make people think of things differently, you know.
Yeah, I agree, because I keep getting double validations on the Sun card, which is, you know, total illumination. So, you know, when that light floods in like that, there's not much to hide. So I feel intuitively that big thing that the psychics and tarot readers and astrologers are talking about has to be a fairly significant illumination coming out about Trump's past. That's my feeling. We can pull some cards. What do you think it might be?
Well, there's so many things on the smorgasbord, isn't there? Because so much is happening. I think it's inevitable there's going to be more stuff because Lev has promised us weekly installments. And part of the problem I think we've all got as readers, or part of the frustration, if you like, we keep identifying things, whether it's emoluments or out and out bribery and different things that would normally sink a president. But they don't seem to with Trump. So it has to be something really epic.
Okay,
and
well,
I think it needs to be his voice or his picture, but his voice. If it's just written documents, to a certain extent, people can shrug it off. The voice is harder to shrug away. Don't you think?
Yes, I do. And you know what? As you were talking, I was going back to an image that I got a couple of readings ago, and I think I might have just sort of posed it as a question. But does Parnas have direct evidence linking Trump to Russia? Now, as we know, Firtash paid Parnas that $1 million. Parnas paid Rudy Giuliani $500,000 for his services. Do we have some sort of recording linking Trump straight to the Kremlin? Is that what it is?
I'm hoping so. I think he's just warming up. And I think he must have. He has recorded everything since 2015. So I will speak on behalf of Lev, yes, but what is it is another story, but
well, let's throw some cards and see where we get. I'm actually going to ask, does Lev have solid evidence linking Trump to Russia? And is he going to release it?
Yes.
Does Lev or someone else have solid evidence? Okay. Oh, so I'm getting the image of a dartboard here. Someone's taking aim, bullseye. Not sure what that means, but someone is definitely lining something up, and it's big. It's a bullseye.
Oh, wow.
The winning of the game, really, isn't it? All right, so... Ooh, okay.
4 cards, 3 major arcana.
Wow, what have you got?
I've got the Hierophant on top. Government, law and order, rah-rah. Not the American government, I would suggest, right? Russia. Then a martyr in this. I don't think this is just hard work or a lot of work. It is that thing, but there's a martyr element. Someone will be martyred in these recordings or something. There's a scapegoat sort of quality to someone, I think, emerging. Temperance, which is usually a lovely card of, consideration and harmony and balance and all of the things. Yeah. To me, this was them doing it as business as usual, not seeing it. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Sorry to hog the time, but it reminds me
go for it. Yeah.
The story that Trump still tells, and Don Jr. certainly tells, they have been dealing with Russia for years in terms of grubby real estate. So all those transactions are there and will turn up in the tax returns. But it's like they thought of it as just how it was. They didn't think of it as an illegal activity. And technically it wasn't until he became president. But this is where it gets a bit tricky. And this is the moon, the veil. It'll take some time, but it will rock people's socks, the size of it, the scale of it. Okay.
Now, I've got something that I didn't expect, Lena.
I love that.
Okay, so it does go back to his past. It does go back to women. What I'm getting is the 8 of Swords, restriction, and I'm particularly drawn to this person who is bound and blindfolded. I feel when I was drawing these cards, something around his past with women, mistreatment of women. It could be, we have, now there's all sorts of things about what his modelling agency was a front for.
I'd forgotten all that.
Okay, so I'm feeling it has to do with expose on that. We've got the 10 of Swords, which means that someone close to him is going to reveal something. He's going to be stabbed in the back, so to speak. I felt this card was coming up a lot for me, and I thought those GOP senators all stabbed, some of them will stab him in the back. Well, Romney did. Well, no, Romney didn't. He just did.
No, he did it in the chest. He just did the right thing, not
he
the
did,
back.
face on, front on, bang.
Yeah.
This, I feel, is someone close around him in his networks is going to reveal something. Is this Lev Parnas? Does he have dirt in relation to Trump and women? It may not go back to his modelling days. It may go back to a weekend they all had together. There's something there to do with women. Now, I'm pulling my whistleblower card. So this is the Page of Cups. This is the one that comes out with something to offer us. And then we've got the 7 of Cups. Now, I'm reading this as in addictions. The 7 of Cups. So I feel that there is an addiction in the past, coming back in the past. Someone close to him has filmed or recorded something, and that's what it could be. Now, I'm just going out on a limb here because I think, you know, I think it was the New York Times, one of the papers has broken. No, it wasn't the New York Times. I think it was Business Insider has come out and run with a story that Trump invented a $50 million loan to avoid paying tax 1 year. So it's an out and out petty fraud case that he's done. So there's all sorts of things around his money that we keep getting.
Yes.
But I feel I feel this is something to do with women and an addiction. There's some kind of maybe recording or footage that someone has that they might release. Now, is this Parnas? Did they participate? Why wouldn't we think that Trump has a history of this sort of thing? Why would it stay buried forever?
Also, there was his Miss World Moscow.
That's it.
Adventure.
Yes.
And Russia being Russia would have recorded every footstep, every fart, everything of what happened there. But will Russia reveal that is another story. And that we could be talking about different things, but I'm just reminded of that Miss World Russia. It could be a woman from another country altogether who comes forward.
So, yeah, Trump is making enemies. I think he, you know, we go on about Bolton being a significant force, but Bolton's an American. Parnas and Fruman are, ties to the Ukrainian underworld, and he used them as scapegoats. Did he go one step too far in alienating these sort of people, well, making enemies of these sort of people? I feel something could be coming on the horizon around Trump and women. I'll put it out there.
Yes, I would not be surprised. And I think another character in this, and I've been harping on this, those intrepid viewers who have been with me since the beginning, Felix Sater.
Yes.
Now, he did lots of money laundering via real estate. He was a Russian-born American citizen, and he famously said, "Donnie, we're going to go to jail for this stuff." Yes, because that's how far out there they were then. This was before he even ran for president. So Felix Sater's contribution, I think, will come on stream at some point.
That's interesting. How will that happen? Was that something that that maybe, was he interviewed by the Mueller team? Was that?
I don't think so, but he was also hauled in by the FBI independently of Mueller.
And so there's the question, can the intelligence agencies be trusted?
Shall we ask that?
Well, why not? Let's ask it. It's dreadful because the NSA wouldn't hand over documents to Congress, so that's pretty serious. Gina Haspel clapping, head of the CIA, clapping at Trump's feet.
The bearer of surprising news. Ooh. Okay, shall I go while you?
You go.
Yeah.
You go.
So, Page of Cups, surprise! Dropping.
Yes.
Yep. Queen of Swords, often my Letitia James card or other thing, but you know, women of authority and with a legal edge. It needn't just be her. There's Amy Brennan too in this mix.
Oh yes.
I'm leaning a bit more to Amy Brennan. Multiple sudden revelations, right? And the hostage card. Now, to sum that up, the question being, can they be trusted? The fact that Trump spends so much energy and time trashing them says to me that perhaps they can. He's worried about them. That's why he demonizes them and has been undercutting the American people's faith in them. So that to me says they are working on it. But I might have to do a clarifier on the hostage. You go ahead.
Yeah, I've certainly got the King of Wands. This is the leadership card. But and this, I feel this card represents the intelligence agencies. I feel they've taken a real hit because we've got the Seven of Wands continually having to defend themselves and stand their ground. So the other aspect of this card is standing their ground. Why, when someone is continually pushing you? But then I've got the Five of Pentacles, which is being, locked out of things. So I feel that they are being rerouted. They're being, like, Trump is going around them. They're being locked out of particular processes. It's almost like if you look at how an oligarchy government works, they're going to exclude the inner circle and replace that inner circle with those that are loyal to them. So, and I think this is another thing that Barr is doing. He's helping Trump reroute, and I feel they're being locked out, and I feel that they're pretty insecure. This is the Four of Pentacles. They are not bringing forward information to as well. As much as they're being locked out, they're also not sharing information with this new inner circle that the White House has. So they're holding information back.
They need to too, because they've got all this stuff. Right. But they feel their hands are tied, literally, with him and via Barr. And the clarifier on that was they're really worried, they're really frustrated.
What's underneath my pack is exactly backing you up. They are hot. They also have information there from the past. So I'm not sure when they would bring that forward to use, because I've also got the Four of Wands, which is my Democratic card, and I've got the World. So I feel at some point these intelligence agencies may have to make a decision.
Yes, because who do they reveal it to? They can't reveal it to the president. They can't reveal it to the chief of staff. They can't reveal it to the secretary of state. They can't reveal it to the attorney general. This is the dismantling of the democracy.
Yeah, but they can. Thank God, the Democratic Party still hold the House.
Yes,
they can
absolutely.
The House. But Trump and his minions worked very hard to portray the impeachment as a partisan process. That it was just along party lines, and so that casts a cloud amongst, I guess, some that the Democratic Party is just serving their own interests in these investigations. So yeah, are they really bipartisan? I don't know. All right, so we were going to look at Biden. Poor Biden got, yeah.
Yes, why he performed so badly in Iowa. Biden, let's look at Biden.
Well, the question is, did he? That's the other question, because I'm pulling Trump straight away. I'm pulling the King of Trump.
I did too. What did you get? The King of Pentacles?
King of Pentacles.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I think that's a bit of both things here. A double validation, Trump's smear campaign, and potentially the Iowa process being compromised.
Right. Well, this is unequivocal. This is not good for Biden. Okay, so yes, Trump, Biden being stabbed in the back with all this Ukraine stuff. You know how things stick. It doesn't matter what actually happened. The damage is done. The death card, and not finished. Broken heart.
Okay, well, okay, I get a bit more positive for Biden.
Lucky he's got you, Maryann.
Hey?
Lucky he's got you.
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, all right, so the King of Pentacles, Trump has done his damage. We've got Biden having to make a decision here. However, I've also got the Ace of Swords, which is really nice. So that's a lot of clarity coming into the situation. I feel that this Two of Swords could indicate that the Iowa process was a bit compromised in some way, and we've got the Sword of Truth coming out. So I don't feel that there might be some changes in the final votes, because I do get Biden being disappointed. So yes, Trump has really done a number on him, but then it's followed by the Nine of Cups. So that's reasonably healthy. I get the Hierophant. I feel that Biden does enjoy some protection, spiritual protection, because I do get the Ace of Cups being, he might be able to re-kick off his campaign, and the Fool card. But right now he's just walking that tightrope. So, and he's tired.
Yes.
He's really tired.
I think he's losing energy, not gaining energy.
Well, imagine, like, he's had so much tragedy in his life. Like, to be fair to the man, you and I know, you know, as you know, we know how tragedy in terms of our professions. I mean, I know you're a sociologist, and I've studied sociology as well. We understand the impact of grief on people, and it's a lifelong when people lose children. But I do feel that you know, that he's been really unfairly dealt with by Trump, and really knocked around by this whole Ukrainian issue. Have the Democrats defended his record in? I feel that hasn't been done enough. You know, is there a cloud hanging over him? And did he do anything wrong in Ukraine? We know that he didn't. But that point doesn't seem to be coming through strongly enough. So he's up against it. But yeah, hopefully he won't pull out. You know, he won't end his campaign, because
I know, I wouldn't rule it out.
Well, that Ace of Cups can be a new start for him.
Yes.
It can be a closing
relief to not be there in the fray.
Yeah.
But the other thing I will never understand is, when the Hunter Biden story first broke, why Dems didn't jump in and go, it's really not wise, Mr. President, to talk about your children profiting off your position. Someone should have rubbed their noses in. Day one, you don't even have to start inquiries or anything, but just hit back. It would not have gone anywhere if they'd even threatened to say, let's look at Ivanka's trademarks in China, shall we? Let's look at Don Jr.'s vineyards and the undocumented workers. Let's go for it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And that's again because they were decent. You don't attack children.
I know, but
sorry, I'm going on.
No, but they were investigating Kushner's security clearance. They were investigating the inauguration as well, which of course Ivanka ran, headed up, and Melania was there as well. Yes. What happened to those investigations?
Well, exactly, but also if they'd just alluded to them at the time, like I said, day one, this is coming from a man whose own inauguration fund is being investigated, etc. Name 5 things at one press conference and it would have died.
Yeah, exactly. And now Barr has opened an investigation into Hunter Biden. Okay. So, you know, Joe Biden's really, really in some ways out on his own on this.
And I feel for him, like you say, as a parent, because he didn't really want to do this. He was doing it because everyone said, we need you. You're the one candidate that can unite America, etc., etc. We could all have our own opinion on that. But that's what got him in. He's not driven by the need, you know.
So in other words, it's not going to take much for him to give it up.
Yeah, that's right. That sums it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to look at any other I mean, we don't even have to throw on it if you don't. Who would you say come November 2020, who do you feel is going to be the likely Democratic candidate?
Isn't it a hard one? If you ask me on Wednesday, I have one front runner. If you ask me on Saturday, I sort of think, it's the combo that's important. So it's a rubric cube, isn't it? They can't be 2 white men. It presumably has to have a woman in there. They're running out of minorities. They could pull Julian Castro or Kamala Harris. I'd have to say I genuinely don't know. If you're asking me as a person at this point, I think it's in a state of flux. So what about you? Do you have a clear front runner?
Well, what I have at the back of my mind, which is, you know, I'm not prepared to put money on it, as you say, it changes, and we're a long way away from the Democratic candidate being chosen and coming through, and there's always free will. So all of those disclaimers aside, I have a feeling in the back of my mind, and again it varies on any different day, that Elizabeth Warren is going to be hard to knock out.
She's peaking at the right time. She's gaining, and it's like dare to hope, dare to dream. Could it go through? But it's hard to say because the Dem structure, the industry of the party wouldn't be that keen.
You know, the question is, Lena, can Elizabeth Warren beat Donald Trump?
Yeah,
that's where it comes down to.
Exactly. And can she? I don't want to read on it today because we'll be covering it into the future, but that's the key question.
Yes.
I wouldn't rule her out. She could crush him, but here's my other prediction, viewers, Maryann. Trump's going to avoid these debates, I think.
Right.
Okay. Now he'll be torn. The Gemini will be torn between wanting the national audience and prancing around the stage like he did with Hillary. He'll want to do that, but all his advisors would be giving him reasons not to do it, I think, because he's avoiding ever being confronted with any of his stupid, imbecilic, aggressive, lying statements. There's no forum. He doesn't do real press conferences.
No,
and a debate would pin him down at a very late stage in the game. I think he's going to avoid the debates.
Lena, that could be a good or a bad thing for him. That could be in terms of a PR strategy or a campaign strategy. That might backfire on him.
Exactly.
Let's have a look if he makes it that far, because I want to we've got a couple of more questions, and then we'll finish up. I want to look at, Lena, what's coming up for Trump over the next 2 months.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Let's sort of focus and
even 2 months is a long time. I'm happy with a month to 6 weeks because.
Okay, all right. Let's look at that.
Let's look at the next month to 6 weeks. So Trump himself. What's happening for Trump? What's happening for Trump? What's happening for Trump?
Interesting image. Yeah. Whoa. Okay, now I'll just quickly, before you go, I got an image of a ceiling, a chandelier. Well, it was either a pillar upside down, like the world had turned upside down on him, or a chandelier was about to drop. And the first card I got was the Tower.
Oh, it was my shadow card.
Something is going to occur that's going to rock his world, that's going to turn. And look what I got. Well, that's his card, but it's also the Lover's card as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And here's my Sun card. Remember I talked about I'm continually pulling this Sun card.
Yes.
We've got the Tower, we've got the Lovers, and we've got the Sun. 3 major arcana.
Oh, no. Isn't it weird?
And underneath, at the base, the Black Judgment, something coming to an ending. Oh. Which is, I love my Judgment card because that's democracy, or a new form of democracy, or whatever comes after democracy, and it's certainly not neo-fascism, is permeating right now. But wow, that's definitely, it's something that will turn things upside down. Okay, that's what I'm getting.
Well, they're no better here. Here we have the 10 of Swords. How's Trump's next 6 weeks looking? The moon, which I also see Pamela Coleman Smith, the artist, chose to make the moon card with the yellow of the sun, meaning eclipse. It's an eclipse, not literally in the sky, but an eclipse energy of whoa. A spy in the camp is going to break his heart.
Wow. And just clarifying my Sun, I've got the 4 of Cups. So there's definitely, that Sun is disappointment for him. He's right in my cards. It is the Tower. Now, who's the spy going to break his heart?
Look, we've had conversation. I was going to say Ivanka's the one that would really break his heart, but I don't see her actually doing that. But go on. What? You had a revelation.
There's been conjecture that Kellyanne Alternative Facts is actually working with her husband. I think it
is a woman. Because I don't think a man doesn't break his heart. A man makes him angry.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's why it's a woman.
Oh, okay. So someone's going to leak something from the White House. Is that what we think?
I think so. It's got to be really close to the bone.
Okay. That's interesting. Wow. All right. One last question, Lena. You asked the last question. What was it was about the best way forward for the Dems and their supporters.
Yes. Now, we've all been saying, as indeed the viewers have as well, the Dems really have to pull together from this point on. The Republicans are really good at keeping their dirty laundry in the back room and presenting a united front. The Dems have to have their battles in the back room from this point on and unite. But the question I'd like to ask is, what's the best way forward for the Dems and Dem voters? Putting it together, what's the best way forward? Okay. What's the best way forward? It's a given they have to pull together more than they have, but let's look. I'm going to give my cards a mega shuffle too. I really want to clear the energy for this question. This way forward. And I think every time a Dem candidate gets up to speak in any context, they have to start saying, I'm presenting my policies, but it's in the best interest of America for us to back anybody against this man, and we will. We will unite. Keep programming it. Yeah, go on.
Okay. So I've got the Eight of Wands that's just jumped out just as I was shuffling. That would suggest they keep the speed up, they keep the pressure on him, they keep releasing, they keep anticipating, keep releasing, go, 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 go. Don't stop, just keep going. That's just the card that's jumped out.
Yes.
Sorry, you go and then I'll do mine.
All right. So, oh, good. I get some positive there. They're up against the devil in the form of Trump, the emperor, and they've got to use a more outward, almost aggressive approach, right? To be direct, to be generous, to do it. And this is my GOP card. They need to play their cards close to their chest in relation to the GOP, but to be open with the public. So in other words, their congressional activities need a certain moderation or carefulness, steady as she goes, versus the public thing. This is making the public feel secure.
Yeah, I got that.
That things will be all right, that order will be restored.
That's correct. Yeah. No, okay. So I pulled a full Celtic cross, and I won't go into real detail, but I did get keep the passion, keep the flame alive.
Yeah.
They are challenged by the fact they can't really control their national security and by the GOP obviously running cover for this president. However, I do feel we've got justice crowning this reading, so they do have to keep that pressure on and also allow people to understand that they are safe because they need to be in a position where they're reassuring people. There's a lot of
that's the message I got.
Yeah, and my outcome cards is just keep the pressure on the truth, keep bringing the truth out. Don't stop, because there's this tendency after the acquittal, which we all knew was going to happen anyway, to be a bit, gut punch, to be a bit, to step back. That's what they shouldn't do. They should take it up to him and do it as quickly and as fast as they can and be relentless. I feel this is a relentless card.
Yes.
They need to be relentless. And look, what I've got at the base of the pack, I've got the Congress, the House. I have my card for the Democrats, and I've got strength and endurance. So keep it up. Keep the pressure on.
Keep it up. Okay, everyone. Well, look, I hope you guys all enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. Maryann, I'm going to ring you in a moment.
Yes, I know that we've got those appointments but we've got a couple of minutes before we have to go. So do give me a call. Thank you, Lena. It's been absolutely joyful reading with you. And we are so on the same page with our cards. Those number of validations, those double cards that we kept pulling, fantastic. So thanks for the opportunity to read with you.
Oh, no, it was great. So here's goodbye from the Australian aunties. Ta-ta for now.
Bye for now.
I'll ring you to debrief.
Yeah.
Yes.